We asked you earlier in the show if Rory right now is as good as Tiger in his prime, and the results are in, and they are definitive. No, with 80.6% to yes at 19.4. Stephen A., did our viewers get that one right?
I believe they did. And the reason I think they did, Skip Bayless, is because Rory has not had to endure what Tiger had to endure. Coming into the sport, basically carrying the sport on your back, transcending the sport in a certain way, the way that Tiger did in terms of, just essentially ingratiating himself with the world. Being in a situation where you're that dude. That's Tiger Woods. And that was Tiger Woods. And then we saw how young he was. We saw what he was accomplishing. We saw how minorities and others got involved in the sport. And all of a sudden, he wasn't just a golfer any longer. He was a transcendent figure with expectations heaped on his shoulders that have never been heaped on the shoulders of a Rory McIlroy. Rory can play. You know, his mid-range game, the way he does off the tee, his putting game, whatever it takes, he seems to find a way at this particular moment in time to get it done. But if you recall, there was a time when he went through a slump, whether it was because of changing clubs, whether it's because of issues with the coach, maybe it's because, if I remember correctly, I don't know if he was in court or not. Just refresh my memory on that. I'm just talking about just some problems with his team. You know, obviously he was engaged, called off his engagement, but that was nothing compared to what Tiger had to go through. And when he was going through that level of adversity, he had fallen off the map a little bit for about a year or so before he comes back into the scene. So when I look at Rory, I say to myself, look, he's a bad boy. He's only 25. He's got 4 majors. You get mentioned in the same breath as Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus. You deserve for people to ask that question. I got to look at you legitimately and say, you're no joke. You're the real deal. But at the same time, are you what Tiger was? I need to see more from you, more of what I'm seeing right now over a longer period before I'm willing to give you that.
Okay, what if we take out of the equation what Tiger had to prove sort of off the golf course? What if we take it out and we just do stats versus stats? We just do performance versus
Then what I would say to you is that he still needs to do more of what he's doing.
Yep.
But if we're just taking, like, let's say, for example, the year that he's having, is it comparable to Tiger's best years? Sure.
It is, especially if he could finish off the slam, if he could start doing the Rory slam the way Tiger did the Tiger slam, remember in 2000, 2001, where he goes U.S., British, PGA, and then the next year won at Augusta, won the Masters again. So he had won 4 in a row, and it was called the quote-unquote Tiger slam. Well, could Rory continue this dominance into next year and win the Masters and the U.S. Open? Well, like you said, let's see before we leap to that conclusion.
Right, that's all I'm saying.
Okay, this is where I draw the line on Rory. I'm not sure, I'm not convinced he will ever be as mentally tough as Tiger was during his glory days in that 2000, 2001 period. I've never seen anything like that, even in the Nicklaus years, when Nicklaus was dominant. He blew golf away. Golf was afraid of Tiger Woods. Everybody cowered in Tiger's shadow. And I don't think they cower yet in Rory's shadow, even though I can show you that just in pure performance, Rory's right there with Tiger because of the way he's doing it. Because Tiger was never this straight off the tee. Rory is crushing the ball. You play so you can appreciate this. I was watching yesterday. He is launching moonshots, and he's only like 5'8" or 9. He's a little guy by most human standards. He is creaming the golf ball in ways I've never seen it creamed consistently straight, where he just looks down at a little point on the fairway and says, I got this. Boom. And there's another moonshot that he is flying the ball 305, 310 yards. He averaged, and he had the longest driving distance through the PGA at 315. So he averaged 315 off the tee as he won the PGA.
And he doesn't look like he's hitting it as hard as Tiger used to. When Tiger hit it hard, his whole body...
Yeah, I would agree. It was more spectacular to watch Tiger almost like come out of his shoes. But Tiger was capable of this way and that way, and he's still capable, but he was the greatest scrambler I've ever seen. Out of the woods, it is like one thing after another. But in this case, the reason Rory has had such a long climb back to dominance is I cannot forget what happened in 2011 at the Masters. Now, remember, he should have 5 of these things right now. He had a 4-shot lead, and he was just a kid then, but he had a 4-shot lead going into Sunday. He had a 1-shot lead standing on the 10th tee going to the back 9 at Augusta National on Sunday of the Masters. And what happened? He triple bogeyed number 10, and it took him a long time to climb out of the psychological hell he found himself in at that point in his career. Well, again,
if you're going to bring that up, that's one of the reasons why you can't sit there and say he's Tiger.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, on pure performance, on the ability to strike the golf ball and to putt the golf ball, all of his short game, all his wedge play, he's right there with the Tiger I remember. But in mental toughness and mental emotional dominance, when Tiger set foot on the golf course, I just took one look at him wearing red on Sunday, and I thought, uh-oh, he's going to win this one. He just walked like with the shoulders back and the chest out, like, I got this. With Rory yesterday, he was coming apart. He starts biting his left lip, he starts doing this, and you can just see he had his C-plus game yesterday. But his mental toughness is growing because off his C-plus, he had a 1-shot lead to start yesterday. He blew it. He fell 2 behind 2 really good players, 2 Butch Harmon players. And Henrik Stenson was above him for a while also. Right. These are 3 very good players. And what happened? He gathered himself. I thought the shot he hit on 10, I don't want to get too golfy here, but I thought he missed that. I thought that was a great miss. It was like a tournament-turning miss because he came off it a little bit, actually cut it a little bit.
I'm looking at it right now.
And it curves with the sort of the swale of the fairway going into the green, and all of a sudden it winds up, what was it, like 7 feet away for an eagle?
Right.
Well, that turned the whole tournament around. But I got to tell you.
That was like, that shot you're talking about, that was like 15 shots. I think he said it was about 15 feet left of where he was aiming.
Okay,
and
well, there you go.
And about 30 feet lower than what he was looking at.
It was what you call a great miss.